Hi, I'm Holly Jean Harrison with the Fintech Times. I'm here at Innovate Finance Global Summit. Would you like to introduce yourself for us, please?
Hi everyone, my name is Sinead McHale. I am CEO of a fintech called Satago. We are the UK's leading cash flow management platform, looking after everything from invoice chasing right through to risk profiling customers and then right through to financing. So all three solutions in one single platform.
Fantastic. And how are you finding the event so far?
Really good, really insightful. It's obviously, because of the pandemic, it's probably one of the first events that we've been to in with people live, so it's really good to catch up with people, lots of interesting things, being surfaced. So yeah, really informative.
Amazing. And so in your opinion, what are the major trends we're seeing in fintech currently?
I think that's quite an interesting question. I would base a lot of this on what we see within the company ourselves, and I think there's two key factors. I think number one, businesses and business owners, their advisors and stuff, they really want to see multiple solutions within one platform. I mean, there's lots of great apps that are out there, but they're quite singular. So the idea that, to run a business, you have, your accounting software, you could have kind of your main solution, and then to around that, you could have 8, 10, 12 different apps. I think what we're seeing, because we work a lot with accountants, is that they really just want one solution. So I'm going to say something like Satago that can solve for 10 or 12 different issues within one integration. That definitely seems to be on the rise, and something that we're seeing that particularly accountants are quite interested in. So that's definitely one. I think the second one as well, and it's been talked about quite a lot here and at a conference I was at last week, this idea of embedded solutions, but particularly embedded finance. And I think for us, being a finance company, predominantly, that's it's quite an interesting space to operate in. I read some stats recently. I think it's one of the fastest growing spaces in this sector. And I think I read somewhere that by 2027 it's going to be worth 115 billion. So that's quite, a shift from where it is now. I think it's worth about 36 million or so in quite a short period of time. And I think what's driving that, a lot of it is a result of the pandemic and this idea that people, they want to be more mobile, they need like agile solutions. And probably take what they have, what I would say on the kind of consumer side. If you apply for a loan, a mortgage or whatever in your personal life, you do it through an app, you get a result. It's very quick. And I think there's a demand now from business owners to get that agility, that like ease to access to cash or whatever it may be. They want that kind of transferring over to the business side. So I think not just embedded finance, but those ideas of embedded solutions. So bringing multiple solutions into one simple location. So I guess slight crossover between both items, but I think that's where we're seeing certainly demand.
Absolutely. I think one of the things I've noticed, at least being at the event today, is everyone has said the word embedded so many times. So I think people would agree with you for sure.
It's the word of choice, I think. Yeah.
And so what are some of the key drivers of innovation within fintech?
Again, I think it probably follows on from what we were just previously talking about. I think it's consumer demand. So it's led by, I say consumer, but I mean like an SME, business owners on the more commercial side. I think that there's a demand there to get just a quick response. I talk about the lending side. It's not about whether you get a yes or no. It's just getting that quick response. It's that ability to have multiple options that you can kind of, I would say, review and assess side by side. So if you've got a traditional bank giving a customer, quotes for IF, trade finance, whatever it be, and then you've got an alternative, the alternative lender tends to be able to produce those quotes and stuff quite sooner and access quite funding quite sooner. So I think there's the SMEs themselves are kind of driving this demand that they can look and in parallel and they can understand their options and make informed decisions. Again, I would base it on what we're seeing within our own kind of our space and within demand from our customers. I also think that there's external factors. I think it's competition. We all, fintechs by default are agile and they're forward thinking, and there's a lot of competition in that space. So you've got a lot of fintechs with great initiatives, great ideas that are just trying to progress and be at the forefront of whatever that space that they're in. So I think a healthy competition within the fintech space and the participants is also another one.
Amazing. And I guess another sort of trending topic, not just in fintech, but just sort of globally as well, has been sustainability and the impact on the environment. What role should fintechs be playing in sustainability, do you think?
I think they probably already are playing a role. So again, if you look at fintechs, everything is kind of, or most things are based on a cloud structure. So it'd be AWS, Microsoft Azure, where traditional hosting, etc. You've got the cost of huge data rooms. So there's the kind of carbon footprint of that. So I think that fintechs are already kind of operating in that space. And while it may not be like a conscious decision in terms of sustainability and green finance, we're already leading in that space. We've got the neobanks that don't have branches, etc. You're already saving the customer, the petrol to go and go to a traditional bricks and mortar bank. So I think that's already happening. I think just based on this space and the way that fintechs operate and just through agility, we can continue to lead in that space. So when you think about green finance, I wouldn't necessarily say that Satago is a green lender, but I would say what we are striving towards is that there's less internal email, so there's less pressure on that. There's less physical documentation. It's those small things that can just drive that sustainability piece. So, and I don't just think it's in lending. I think it's just across fintechs in general. I also think, and it probably goes back to the earlier question, there's an expectation and a demand for digitization from both consumers and SMEs. And I think that also feeds into sustainability, because obviously the more digitized we are and the more we operate in that space, we're moving away from the traditional just kind of paper, like all of those things that impact carbon footprint, just the feeders, I guess, into the whole sustainability piece.
Fantastic. And then just finally, again, another big trending topic, collaboration and partnerships.
Yeah.
Do you think collaboration is key for the growth of the industry?
I mean, I'm going to say yes, because we have just recently signed up to a partnership with Lloyds Bank.
Fantastic.
And I guess the learnings from me in that space is, while I think Satago is the best in class technology, we do have limitations just in terms of like origination, cost of funding, all of those restraints. I'm going to say that every fintech comes across. And then on the other hand, you've got a bank like Lloyds, number one tier one bank in the UK, amazing reputation, very secure, very stable. So I think when you take the agility of what Satago can do, and you take the stability, the origination, and the customer base, the loyal customer base that a bank that Lloyds have, you put those two together, and the winner essentially is the end consumer, because they're getting the agility of the fintech, the access to funding, they're getting the supporting tools that they need to run their business. So from a personal perspective, I think collaboration is key. I think historically, when I look back at when, Satago's 10 years old now, and back in the day, I guess it was probably seen as fintechs and banks on either side. And I just think that the market has shifted. We've seen Market Finance have also had a partnership with Barclays. So again, I think it's probably needed. And I think we'll just see a lot more of it as well in the next kind of couple of years.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for your time today. It's been great to chat.
Brilliant. Thank you.